Welcome to an episode of JBSports. I'm your host, John Burton, and today we're going to get into some NBA, some NFL, and a little bit of UFC. So to start, NBA news, you have Russell Westbrook, once again, getting traded to the Jazz just to have a buyout deal so he can sign with the Nuggets. I guess it's nice for him to join the Nuggets. I think everyone would be okay with Russell Westbrook getting a ring, but he could help the Nuggets. It just depends on the team because some teams he helps and some teams he's just kind of there. But he could help the Nuggets. I think that they really have a strong team already, so I don't know where he will fit in too much. He'll be that good veteran presence for like the young point guards and just some of the point guards on the team, but I don't see him being too crazy helpful compared to some of the other people on the team. Because I know they just lost Pope, I believe, Contavious Caldwell-Pope. So that'll be a hurt for them. But I think personally that it's nice to have him there, but I don't know how much he will help. So we'll see how it works out. Only time can tell. Next, Bronny James. He's having a bounce back. The last two games, he's had 12 and 13, I believe, which is good. I mean, he started off not hot at all, and you had all the jokes, you had all the trash talk on him. They didn't really give him a chance, and you gave him one. You let him kind of sit. You let him just work on it. He's had two okay games, so you always want to see someone succeed. So I'm happy for him. I hope he continues to do well. I don't really wish anyone do bad and flake out in their career, so I hope he continues to do well. And then the other Alex Starr, I believe his name is. Alex Starr, he is having a rough time. Second overall pick, he's not doing well. I think he's one of those guys where you also just give him time to develop because, the other game he didn't score a lot, but he had 11 rebounds. So he's doing something right. He just needs to find that click. So maybe give him a little bit more time, just let him have his moment and he'll start doing well. So, on the other hand though, the Rockets, Sheppard is doing absolutely amazing. He is doing so well. In the last few games in the Summer League, let's see, there was a report that an NBA executive said Sheppard's confidence has blown me away in Rockets Summer League games. So people outside the Rockets are taking notice of him, saying he's better than they thought he'd be. And I think so. Third overall pick, Sheppard, through three Summer League games has been averaging 20 points per game, 4.7 assists, as well as 4.7 rebounds, 3 steals per game, and he has a 49 field goal percentage. That's pretty good. I think he's going to be a really big piece for us in the future. He's going to be a big piece for us now. And, of course, Summer League, actual NBA games, there's a difference. Because in the Summer League, you're playing against the new people, the people who couldn't fully make it. They're still on that roster trying to make it. But NBA, that's the real deal. That's, the best players in the world. So it's going to be a difference. But honestly, I think Sheppard can be so good for us. He can be so good as our point guard, as our he's one of our future pieces now. Because when I see the future of the Rockets, I see Alfred Sengun. You're building around him. Amen Thompson. Love him. Sheppard. Cam Whitmore. Cam Whitmore has been doing amazing too. Those are the pieces I think we want to build around. Sheppard, point guard. Sengun, center maybe with Jabari, because Jabari, I think he can be in that spot too. Amen Thompson and Cam Whitmore, that's kind of the rough spot, because I don't know if you want to put them in the lineup, it's kind of hard just putting one at shooting guard, but I guess you can play big there just because they can move. Whitmore has been moving. He's really athletic. Amen Thompson, he's really athletic too. He's been good, so we'll see how it goes, but I'm really impressed with how Sheppard has been playing. I'm loving his upswing. I'm loving what the type of player he can turn into for us. Next, we got some NFL news. Brandon Aiyuk, he requests a trade. I just want this thing to be over. Like, either just stay with the team or please trade him 49ers, because the stress of not knowing if he's going to go to the Steelers, if he's going to go to my team, the Commanders, like, please just trade him or keep him now. Like, I want him on our team really bad, but they already gave us one trade and we didn't do it. It was probably like a trade that was not in our favor whatsoever. Because, like, I'm thinking a trade, maybe, like, get De'Ami Brown there and a pick or two, something like that, like a higher pick, not a low pick, to get him. But at the end of it, you just have to wait to see what happens with that. Yeah, you just got to see what happens with that, because he could be so good on a lot of teams. A lot of teams want him. A lot of teams need him. So, in Commanders, it would be nice to have him, but I don't think we need him as much as other teams. So other teams might have a better deal. You never know. So we'll see. I really want him on the team, but I would love for him to get traded, or just tell nobody there. Or just say, we're not going to trade him, because the stress it is getting me is high. So Mike Sandstrill, he's been getting love. We love to see that. And one thing I wanted to talk about was Terry McLaurin was unranked in a few polls. So it was top 10 receivers. Right now, I can see that. I mean, with the number one, I think he can't be in that top 10 because he's so good, but he hasn't had a consistent quarterback. He really hasn't had that number one quarterback. So he'll be there soon if Jane Daniels is who they say he is, in my opinion. You could say I'm biased. You could say, oh, you're just saying that because you're a Commanders fan. I've been watching him, basically, I've been watching him his whole career. He had one season where he didn't get 1,000 yards, and I believe that was his rookie year. Yeah. So out of all the years, so 1 year he didn't get it, 1,000 yards was his rookie year. He finished the season with 58 receptions and 919 yards and 7 touchdowns. Like, he was basically 80 yards away from getting 1,000. He has gotten 1,000 every year. I think he flies below a lot of people's radars as like a top wide receiver in the league, just because he hasn't had the spark. No, he has the spark. He doesn't have the quarterback that these other wide receivers had. So you can say I'm biased, and you know what? If that's what you want to say, that's fine. But personally, I think when Jane Daniels turns out to be the player he is going to be, Terry McLaurin can end up being a top 10 receiver in the league. So then we're going to go to UFC. UFC, we're going to it. The next big event, UFC 304. There's some big fights. The biggest one on it, of course, would be the main event, welterweight. Leon Edwards versus Belal Muhammad. I like Leon. I don't like Belal as much. I think Leon is just more exciting. He gets more finishes than Belal. You know, Belal's more known for decisions. Like, all the things you see on Instagram, all the things you see, there's like a few, like a 1 or 2 finishes, I'm pretty sure, but it's mostly he's winning best of the decision. So I'm really hoping that this fight can be better than people think it will be. I hope Leon just knocks him out, because I love Leon. Boom, headshot dead. You've seen it before. So, and then Tom Aspinall versus Curtis Blades. I like Tom Aspinall. I think he is a good fighter. I think he can be a good champion. It is kind of rough with John Jones just holding the title and saving it. I think the fight with John Jones and Miyoki, I forgot how to say his name. I think that fight can be won for the heavyweight bout without the title. I think you should just relinquish and give it to Tom Aspinall so the title fights can start moving. So it's going to be a good fight. Tom Aspinall, Curtis Blades. I think Tom Aspinall wins, but You never know. In UFC, anything can happen. Lightweight, and then just one more fight on it. Bobby Green versus Paddy Pimblett. I don't really like Paddy Pimblett. Some about him just like throws me off. I don't like either of them really. Bobby Green and Paddy Pimblett, they just never really liked them too much. But it can be a good fight. Any fight with Paddy and Bobby Green can be a good fight. Bobby Green not as much, but Paddy Pimblett, he's had good fights. I just don't like him as a fighter as much because I just don't like how he goes about himself. I don't like how cocky he is, because I feel like it's like there's like being cocky and then there's being cocky but like at a stupid level. Like he's not as good as he thinks he is. And I mean, I guess that's what being cocky is, but you can be cocky and be good and be cocky and be like mid and be cocky in like a really stupid and annoying way. And I think that's what Paddy Pimblett is. He's not cocky in a good way and like confident, so like he's actually good. I think he's just cocky to be an a-hole. So back to the NBA. I wanted to go a little bit back into the Rockets because I'm a Rockets fan and I just want to talk more about it. Like I said, Reed Sheppard, he is going to be, in my opinion, very, very good for us. But I wanted to talk about the whole team in general. I've said it before. I think the Rockets are a team that is going to be really good because we are building up within the team. We're not building up with players like signing with us. We're building up on just drafting. We're going to get chemistry organically. We're not going to like force people on. So with the team, I haven't talked about a lot about the younger players, but I do want to go back into the team, like I said. But Jalen Green, I love him. You know, he started getting his percentages back in, gear. He's starting to get more efficient, but he struggled a lot, and it's not very, what do you say? It's not very good for a player that you drafted that early to struggle that much in the first few years. He's starting to get it together, but I don't know how long that can last, and I don't know if he's going to be the right person for a team once we start getting all the players together. We did way better this year than we did 2 years ago. We're starting to get it back into gear. But as a Rockets fan, I'm starting to see some of these younger players, and I'm like, I'd rather have some of these younger players over Jalen Green. So at a time when it comes to like more contract, Jalen Green's one of those players I think you can maybe let go somewhere else. He's not bad. Like I said, he's starting to get everything together. But there's some of these younger guys where I'm liking them a lot more than I am Jalen Green. Reed Sheppard, I'm liking him a lot. He's going to be point guard. And I don't know if we really have a amazing shooting guard other than Jalen Green, because we've had some struggles with players recently. Kevin Porter, we had that whole situation. But you're looking at it, the roster, like I said, you got Reed Sheppard now, Cam Whitmore, you have Sengun, who I think we should build around because Sengun is just amazing. Jabari Smith Jr., you have Thompson. So it gets kind of hard to think about what's going to happen with all these contracts coming into play, because I do think that Cam Whitmore can probably take over the spot with, it's like Jalen Green, he is important for the team because he is that shooting guard role, because Amen Thompson and Cam Whitmore are like really good for small forward, because if we want to run both of them, it would have to be more of a big ball lineup. We're playing big because shooting guard, we don't really have that spot. We have a lot of the point guard, Fred VanVleet, Reed Sheppard. Shooting guard, it's only Jalen Green. Small forward, honestly, I don't even think we need to start Dylan Brooks anymore. I think Dylan Brooks can probably get knocked out of the lineup. I don't like Dillon Brooks at all. I don't really think he helped us. He had some good games, but I don't think he's helped us too much. Winning wise, he's gotten kicked out of games. He's gotten in foul trouble, and he fouled in important moments not to. So Dillon Brooks is a type where he can just go because he's not important. I think we gave him too much money. I think we should just trade him if we can, because Amen Thompson, Cam Whitmore, they can already fill the role, because center, if Steven Adams comes back healthy, he's a good person you can plug in there. You have Alfred Sengun, he's our center, and Jabari Smith is the power forward. You can flip them because they're both 6'11", so it just depends on the day. One of them can be center, but I think Sengun stays there. So Sengun, center. Jabari Smith, he's starting to see an uprise. I think he hasn't been the player we want him to be yet, but I think he can still get up there. He's kind of in that Jalen Green role where he's doing all right, but he's not what you want him to see at that spot he is. So we'll see if he can pick it up faster than Jalen Green did. But, I don't think we need Dillon Brooks at all, because these young players are starting to really set it up for us, because we have so many good young players that it's going to be hard when all the rookie contracts are up, and we actually have to start paying people, because we have so many people that are going to expect big contracts because they earned that. Like Sengun, he's going to earn a big contract. Amen Thompson, if he keeps going on the path he'll need a big contract. Reed Sheppard, he keeps playing like he's playing, eventually he will need a big contract. So it's kind of hard when we have this many young players, because you're going to have to pay them all more than you're paying them now pretty soon in the next coming years. So we have to work with what we have. But I'm looking at the roster, and we don't have another shooting guard other than Jalen Green. So we have to work on that, because we got to start getting one of these other younger players up to speed with that. Because, like I said, we can run big ball, have two kind of small forwards out there, but at shooting guard, you don't want a small forward there. I don't think we'd want one there. But you could run it, but having Amen Thompson and Cam Whitmore, that would be really good to have a really good small forward starting and a really good small forward coming off the bench. So it would be nice to have that. AJ Griffin, he won't be bad, but he's definitely not one of the first two small forwards coming on. Maybe if we're winning by a lot, he can come in, but he hasn't done much. I think he can be good, but you don't really know about that. Terry Eason, he's not bad. He did pretty good. We have so many young players that can be really good. We have drafted really well the last few years. So it's just hard to talk about the next few years about these players and not know which ones will be here still and which ones won't be here, just because they're so young and all of them can be good, so they'll want contracts. But the three players I think you want to keep are Thompson, Sengun, and Sheppard. Those are pretty much the untouchables. Jabari Smith maybe, but Jabari Smith's stats, his stats were 13.7 points, which is pretty good, 8.1 rebounds, 1.6 assists. So he can very well be in that group that's untouchable, and those four can start to be your lineup of the future. And I guess Jalen Green, you want to keep him because he's the only shooting guard that we have that's really good, because Nate Hinton, he hasn't done anything. I mean, a lot of these guys haven't had a chance to do much. So it's all about giving them a chance to see which one could possibly take up for Jalen Green. But Jalen Green would just want a lot of money, which he's doing okay. Like I've said, he's gotten his percentages up. But I don't know how long that will last, because it could have been just a flurry for the end of the season. It could have just been a little burst that will pop and not happen again. So I guess it's really just if this is the last year of his contract, which I think it is, it's a prove yourself year for a contract, because you want him to be good, because you want your team to be good, and you want a rookie you drafted first round pick 2 to be good. you just sometimes get scared because how he started. And if it's a spot where it's maybe just end of the year last year where he's get his percentages up, you hope it continues, but you don't know if it will within. But I think if he continues to have he has good percentages, he stays in the spot he is. He didn't do bad near the end with actually like being less of a ball hog. He was getting more assists. He was getting good on boards. As long as he continues to play efficiently, I think you keep him. Because at the end of the day, I don't think I'm highlighting that he is a good player, and I don't think I'm giving him his props enough. But sometimes you just get a little worried. But he proves himself. You give him a contract. He doesn't. You talk to him about a maybe smaller contract compared to what you could give him and what he wants. I want to then go back to the NBA, NFL a little bit. I know I'm going everywhere, but sometimes just have some little ideas pop up. I wanted to go to the Vikings. So, the Vikings, as you know, drafted J.J. McCarthy. And honestly, it's not a bad pick. A lot of people are worried of what he can be. A lot of people are worried what he won't be. And a lot of people are just very confused about him because, national champion. He did good in the final game, but it is Michigan. It is a powerhouse. So you don't know if it's him that's playing really good or the people around him just help him look good. So it's a big prove me year for J.J. McCarthy. But you look at the Vikings, they're not bad. They just re-signed Justin Jefferson. You want to do that. It's a great thing for them to do. Jordan Addison, he just got into some trouble. A lot of these younger players are getting into trouble. You want to make sure that they stay available to play. Jordan Addison, he can be really good, honestly. He had a good rookie year. I think he can play really good. And you want to keep those receivers. You want to have good receivers for your quarterback to throw to because your quarterback can't be the only one playing. Your wide receivers can't be the only one playing. A whole team. It's a team game. You need everyone to play good. So while you can have good people in positions, you have to have good players all around. The Vikings, their defense isn't bad. They've lost some pieces that were good for them. They've added some pieces. Their offensive line wasn't bad, but it's not the best. So I don't know how J.J. McCarthy will work with them because J.J. McCarthy isn't a bad player, but I wouldn't say he's the fastest. So he's one of those where you need a better line for him to do well. Just because I don't think he's the best scrambler, in my opinion, because he's slower. I don't think he moves as well in the pocket. A little bit into fantasy football. We all love it. I just wanted to go into the complete 2024 projections. I'm just going to go top 5, maybe top 10. These are the people who are top 10. Christian McCaffrey, number 1. We all know Christian McCaffrey. He gets receiving touchdowns, rushing touchdowns. He's almost got a touchdown every single game this year, so he's a good player to have on it. I wish I had him last year. I did not. He destroyed me in every game. CeeDee Lamb, he had an amazing year last year. He did amazing for the Cowboys. He did amazing for fantasy. Breece Hall, he's one where if they give him more touches, he can definitely do well for you because he's a good running back. I don't think they've given him the chances he needs to become that running back. Tyreek Hill, every year he's a good pick. He's fast. He gets a lot of touchdowns. And I talk about not getting chances. Bijan Robinson, last year, he's one of the best running back prospects in a while, in my opinion. Give him the chance, he can do good. There's many times last year where they gave him the ball in a game more than they did in the past 2 games, and he did amazing. And then some games they gave him nothing. So give him more chances, give him more running chances, give him more passing chances. He's going to be good. Jamar Chase, 7-Eleven, always open. Jamar Chase, I think he had a down year, but the Bengals had a down year in general because Joe Burrow got hurt. I think him getting that big of a contract kind of messed up with the team's chemistry, so hopefully they can get that back. But I think you have an up year. Ross St. Brown, he's really good. He gets a lot of yak yards. I think he's just a good pick. Justin Jefferson, always a good pick, He's the best wide receiver in the league. Garrett Wilson, last year was a rough year, but of course the Jets did not have Aaron Rodgers starting. They had Zach Wilson starting most of the year. So Garrett Wilson only had 3 touchdowns. I think it'll go way up. They think it'll go way up, so that's good. And then number 10, Puka Nacua. He did really good in fantasy last year because Cooper Kupp was out. We'll see what happens with that with Cooper Kupp back, because Cooper Kupp is going to be the number 1 option, in my opinion, just because he's one of the best receivers in the league. He was hurt last year. Matthew Stafford's still playing there. He loves Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp stays uninjured. He stays healthy. He'll be totally fine. And then he's not in the top 10, but just someone I think is going to be really good. Jamar Gibbs, he's a really good running back. I think he was a little underrated last year till the end of it, but he can be really good. I picked him last year in fantasy. He did really good for me, so those are kind of the top 10 guys, and the guy I like. I just want to see where Terry McLaurin is, just because, being a Washington fan, is he not in the top 50? Well, Washington fans, I'm sorry, we don't have a person in the top 50. That will change though, because Jane Daniels will be the quarterback we need him to be. But after that, there's not much more to talk about. Thank you guys for watching. This has been an episode of JB Sports, and thank you.